everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well today. As per usual, as I do every single week, I'm going to be talking about the Doctor Who episode that came out today. Today's was episode 8. I can't believe how quickly this series has gone. It's actually ridiculous. This episode was called The Witchfinders, which I very much interpreted as the Witch Hunters for a long time, and I think I've said that in a number of videos. It was called the Witch Hunters, but it's actually called Witchfinders. Oops, never mind about that. But yeah, I thought I'd give my opinions on the episode and maybe relay some of Ellie's opinions too, just to kind of pad it out a bit. So we watched this episode, and excuse me, do you mind watching videos very loudly in the background? They probably couldn't hear that because the audio on this phone's terrible, but we'll see, won't we? We'll see in post. In post, literally when I upload it straight away with no editing. Anyway, yeah. This episode started in just straight off the bat. Everyone was already where they were meant to be, which seems to be a trend in this series quite a lot of the time. In some of the episodes, they just so happen to be exactly like mid adventure, whilst when we find the Doctor and people like with the Tsuranga conundrum. However, this episode meant a lot to me because it was, or some of it at least, was filmed back home where I live, and I was unfortunately in Bangor at uni when they were filming it. It's filmed in Gosport. There's a 17th century 17th century interpretation village there, and that's where they filmed this episode. So it was really cool. I've been there before, so I like, you can't really recognise it because it's a 17th century village, and I've been there once. But like, it's nice to know that they filmed it at home. So I went in like looking forward to the episode just for that. And this episode was one that I was looking forward to, and Ellie was looking forward to, because it's a historical one, and the two historical episodes we've had this series, in my opinion, have been the best episodes of the series. So I was looking forward to hopefully what would be a third entry into that Hall of Fame for the series, if you like. However, I'm not going to say I was disappointed by this episode, but I would say it's not as good as the other two historicals we've had, and that's a shame. But again, I will say that I did enjoy this episode quite a lot. Maybe not as much as some of the other episodes this season, but I definitely wouldn't say this episode was bad or mediocre. I would say this episode was good, as I would say for every single episode of this series. In my opinion, every single episode has been good, and it's a very consistent series. It was interesting. We start off basically getting thrown straight into the deep end. Take that however you like, with witch dunking. Into that kind of ritual, if you like. And it was very hard hitting immediately, and that set the tone for parts of the episode, at least. That this episode was quite a hard to watch in terms of emotional episode. Like, not only do you have the episodes of attitudes to witchcraft and things in 17th century England, but you also have emotions running from Yaz telling her backstory of being like bullied, the Doctor like being ousted as a witch. You got King James and his emotions of losing literally everyone he's ever known, all of his family. Quite a horrible, like, emotion-filled episode, and I thought that was really good. And I thought that the way they played on that was very entertaining, and it kept me watching. So that's as high praise as you can give a show, I guess. Character-wise, I felt that again we've had an episode where at least all of the companions do something. Yaz helps. I can't remember people's names. It's ridiculous. But Willa. Yaz, huh? Willa. Thank you, Ellie. She's finally doing something useful for me. Yaz helps Willa and like tells her the story of her being bullied. She's instrumental in helping Willa come to find the Doctor and stuff, and join their side. You've got Ryan, who again has been the most overlooked character, I feel. Not doing much, but at least having enough of a relationship with James that was really interesting. And you've got Graham being Graham, really funny, light-hearted, but clever at the same time, looking at things rationally, with his hat, which made me laugh every single time I saw him wearing it. And again, I feel like they did a good job. The Doctor, especially this episode, I felt stood out. I think she was fantastic this episode. The things she said, the way she acted, and this was definitely one of the strongest Jodie Whittaker episodes in terms of like the Doctor's character that we've seen, in my opinion, anyway. Supporting characters, I thought that Willa was good, and it was nice to watch because she just seemed like quite an ordinary person caught up in something very extraordinary, and that's a nice thing about Doctor Who. You often get that. I felt that King James was played amazingly. I don't know if having King James as a kind of comic relief character is a good idea, but to me he was a comic relief, and that was actually quite entertaining to see for someone who was so emotionally driven by the story and the things that happened. He always seemed to be able to make me crack a smile, not anyone else in the story, but just me as a viewer, which is kind of cool because it kind of throws you off the actual pace of the story and makes you get distracted and then surprised when something bad happens, if you're laughing at someone who is an antagonist. But I thought that Alan Cumming played him really, really well, and I was really happy to see him back in Doctor Who, which is nice. I can't remember the actress who played the other woman. Do you remember her name, Ellie? You gonna help me out on this one? No. Like Beatrice or something. I don't know. But that, I think she was played very well as well. The whole twist in the story was interesting. I felt like the tree as a lock thing was kind of far fetched, but it was good, and I did surprisingly enjoy the threat this episode of the alien things, and the transformation of the Queen at the end was very, very weird and scary, and it drew you in closer, and that was quite good. I enjoyed that. The King, I wish they'd used more, because that was really weird how the face was like coming out of the mud tendril. I thought that was a really, really cool visual, and yeah, I wish they'd done a bit more with that. But oh well, that's just what you get when you've got a 45-minute runtime to stick to. Music, can't fault. Again, it worked really well with the story. Very minimal. Really, yeah, there wasn't really much music, but that worked. It was just atmospheric stuff that suited the mood well. It just seems that I've noticed music more and more after a couple of episodes, just letting it sink in, and that way I can focus more on the sounds that are happening as well as what's being visually shown to me, getting used to the cinematography. Cinematography this episode again was very good. And yeah, my favourite bit of the episode has got to be the fact that the Doctor gets mistaken for a witch. That is something that Doctor Who hasn't been able to do. And when it was announced that Jodie was going to be the next Doctor, I was concerned that it would kind of not that it's a woman, but just the fact that the character is like a manly character, or at least a man playing this character. So it's just like a certain way. Going off of that means that it may drag the show down a bit. It might go against what the character has stood for multiple regenerations. But I was surprised by this, and now I'm excited to see where we go next, because we've seen the Doctor now put in a situation where she never would have been before, being, like, for example, being accused of being a witch, and therefore being at stake for her friends to come and like help, and just being a woman in this instance actually drives the story, and it leaves so much room for future episodes where it is detrimental. And looking at a historical episode from the viewpoint of someone who's at risk of it, rather than from someone who's just there to help, as we've seen in the past, I think that's so much more interesting, and it could lead to more emotionally driven stories, because the Doctor's being persecuted instead of stopping people persecuting. And I think that is really exciting to see, and I hope that in future historical episodes we see that. We actually see some hard-hitting stuff focused on the Doctor because she's a woman. That would be really, really interesting and exciting to watch. And yeah, it would emotionally drive any watcher to root for the Doctor, and that might even be a good way of getting people who are less enthusiastic about Jodie's appointment as Doctor 13 to like the character more. I don't know. That's just my thoughts, but I really like that twist of the Doctor being under fire rather than like a companion. And specifically because of her gender, and she has a sonic screwdriver that looks like a wand. That was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. Next episode, I don't know the name of, but it looks really interesting, going to Denmark or whatever, or Norway, I can't remember what it was. There's a moth, and I'm looking forward to that one, because that one looks like it could be visually stunning because it's Nordic countries. They're beautiful. I'm really looking forward to that one. But yeah, those are my opinions on this episode. Why don't you let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And how do you think the episode actually went? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Do you think it was mediocre? I think it was above mediocre, and like I'd say it's good, but not as good as other episodes of this series. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment down below, subscribe. That way you can see all of the reviews of Doctor Who episodes I know there's only 2 left of this series, and then the New Year's special, but I will still be doing them, and then I'll find other things to talk about too. I talk about football on here. I'll find some other TV shows and stuff to talk about, I'm sure, once Doctor Who is finished for the season. But yeah, make sure you all stay safe and have a pleasant night or a pleasant week until I see you next week. Until then, bye bye.